Where science arrives, Shree begins. I was a science student, and in 11th grade, we were taught subjects of trigonometry. Nothing but triangles, the relationship between angles of different shapes. And then you study it and you come at something more beautiful. You arrive at infinity in maths. Now you'll ask me, why are we talking about science and Shree together? So the Shree Yantra many of you have seen. You've seen photos of it. Maybe somewhere you've seen yantras in your house. You're seeing the internet talking about all these things, and one must not learn this sadhana. It's dangerous. And let me take you stepwise into the real magic, the real knowledge, and why India or Bharat or Hinduism has been able to preserve this knowledge or maybe even invented this knowledge. So be with me. All science students, and those of you not from a science background, you can use Google to research. We all know the phi. Phi is a number and it stands for the golden ratio. What is a golden ratio? The entire universe is working on a set of fundamental principles of design, which is about harmony, which is about beauty, and which is infinite. But we must understand that the entire universe also involves the human. That means whatever's happening out there is also happening in here. The macrocosm, as we call it, and the microcosm within is all based on the same principles. So when we study phi and when we study the golden ratio, we will come at a beautiful understanding of Lord Vishnu. No, I'm not a dogmatic religious person, which is why it's even more amazing for someone like me who was against religion, who was against all these beautiful knowledges that India had. So come back to the golden ratio. The golden ratio is also seen in the Fibonacci series or the Fibonacci sequence. If you keep replicating that design that the Fibonacci sequence makes, it looks like the Nautilus fossil or shell. If you look at the Nautilus, you take the section of the Nautilus shell. Now listen to this. It is the same as what we call as the shaligram that is found in Nepal and India. See the design of the shaligram. What is the shaligram? It's us worshipping Vishnu. And what does Vishnu stand for? The cosmic divine order. That order which is running the whole universe, including you and me. The human is not separate from the divine order. And when everything tends towards the golden ratio, when everything fits or comes close to the golden ratio, it automatically becomes beautiful. So Lord Vishnu is holding a shell in his hand, or shankh as we call it. That shankh actually is there for a reason. That imagery is not random. It is not to tell you that there is a person that is Vishnu that one must worship. Because this ancient civilization was very scientific and it understood not only arriving at these beautiful realizations that mathematics, physics, or quantum physics, or even metaphysics has arrived at, but going a step beyond that and understanding what is in it for me. How can I use this knowledge? Because when I was in class 12 and studying all this, I really didn't know how I will use trigonometry, how I will use physics in my day-to-day life. It was creating no impact on how I was feeling, what experiences I was having. But now let's come to how can we use all this knowledge? That is Shree. Shree is not only understanding divine concepts of mathematics and physics, but also taking it a step further and now making it useful in our own life. And what is the use of all this? What does everybody want from life? Tell me. We live for few 70, 80 years, all of us. All of us want the same basic things. We want good food to eat. We want a good house. We want nice relationships. We want to be successful in whatever work we're doing. And then we want to have mystical experiences, some of us. And then human life ends. Self-realization is the last thing that any human being aspires for when all other desires are fulfilled. But how is maths and science helping me do that? How is understanding the universe is running on a sequence? So there's a limitation to science. The Shree Vidya is a very ancient knowledge. It's not dogmatic. It is not religious. It is simply trying to take what science is talking about and now applying it on the human. So how are we connected to the universe? Through our brain, our nervous system. Anybody whose brain stops working is still alive, but is in coma. So we can very practically, logically say that the brain and our nervous system is really leading to the experience of being alive. But is everyone using their brain to the full capacity? Does everyone have the IQ or the intelligence of a scientist? Not really. That's why people question the Vedas, people question religious texts, or people misinterpret it. Not because it's not correct or there's something wrong with what was being said. It's misinterpreted because we lack the intelligence to interpret it. Because all this knowledge, the Vedic knowledge, the ancient knowledge, was fundamentally scientific but very, very high. Even if you try to read the Upanishads, not everybody's cup of tea. Not everybody can understand science in that depth, or even philosophy for that matter. So not everybody can read the Upanishads. Not everybody can contemplate on the cosmos the way Rishi Munis had done it. So they created, again, a sacred geometric pattern, which is the Shree Yantra. Now you see a lot of triangles there, you see petals, you see circles. What is all this? Shapes. But every shape has a purpose. It's not randomly some design printed on a piece of paper that you're going to now, just chant some mantra to. No, every petal, every triangle, the way the Shree Yantra is constructed is absolutely scientific. And it's not easy. It wasn't everybody's cup of tea. That's why this knowledge was not very popular. Because what becomes popular? Something that the masses can understand, which very few people can understand, is not a popular subject. Nobody is taking aerospace engineering in school. Why? Not because aerospace engineering is not great, but because mass intelligence cannot grasp, cannot study at that level and design rockets. Similarly, when it comes to the inner experiences of sadhana, not everybody has that discipline or that understanding. But Shree Yantra, the Shree Vidya, simplifies it so that everybody can take away something from it. Whether you're a class 1 student or a class 12 student, there is something in it for everybody at the level of consciousness or intelligence or readiness that you are at. So it is, yes, very, very safe to do. As opposed to popular belief that these practices are scary, Tantra is scary. Okay, now let's talk about Tantra. Because it is a tantric practice, in India, we don't just have religion, we also have occult. Tantra is something that we have given to the world. But what is Tantra? Even that is very misunderstood. Tantra simply means that once you understand the fundamental principles of the universe, can you use them? Aren't we here to do just that? When you study in school, don't you want to make use of that knowledge? That is Tantra. That if you're understanding an aspect of the cosmos, do you empower yourself to use it in some way? So, we see a lot of these tantric videos where somebody claps and something fire comes up. Somebody chants a mantra and some black magic is being done, and some bird will die. There's a lot of sacrifice, bali that we call, is happening in Ma Kamakhya Devi, and we question, is this right? Is this wrong? You cannot have such a black and white answer to the cosmos. Why do black holes exist? If God was just a saintly angelic being, why is there a black hole? What happens to the black hole? No scientist will talk about the universe the way religious people talk about the universe, which is why it is almost funny sometimes for me to see religious people, or, and any religion, all religions, they are trying to talk about something that is so complex in a one-line statement. Everybody should be nice. I don't think the universe is working on the principle of being nice. It is working on the principle of order, cosmic order. It is not working on the principle of being nice. So now when I talk about the Shree Yantra, I understand that either I am adhering to that cosmic order or I'm not adhering to it. When I am in tune with that cosmic order, my life, which is a manifestation of me, my nervous system, my brain, my thinking, my actions, suddenly starts becoming really good. So we can use these techniques to change our life.